All right, good afternoon everybody. Dr. Shankopotamus here. We are looking at the back door, okay. Little problem I'll show you here with the multi-point locking system. You'll see there's, here and here, this is your lock, and there's our problem. See there, out? No matter what you do, it doesn't go all the way back. So in order to get them open and closed here for about the last week, give or take, we've had to undo both of them, unlock both of them, swing them out at the same time with these pulled in. Now these are still working, okay? And this is your handle for opening it up, but this is your lock, okay? So I took this off. Let me show you inside of this here how it is. So it's a strip down through here. It's a multi-point lock because at the top, make sure I get it, here we go. Zoom in a little bit. See that? There's another lock there at the top. You can see this bad boy goes in when you pull, right? And then there's another lock. Ooh, all the way down there at the bottom. The bad boy also goes in when you pull. Okay. So I took everything out here. Let me zoom out for you guys, for y'all. So I took everything out, this whole piece out, screws here, all the way up. Took the screws out. Actually, I'm sorry, I'll show you. You take the handle off first, then the plates off, you're on each side, and then took the screws out, pulled the whole mechanism out, found a broken piece in the back. Even when I got it opened as best I could, cleared out the broken piece, tried to really lubricate this thing down and get it going, it still won't. That's it. That's all you get. So best I can tell, probably another piece of metal's fallen in the gear inside there and it's closed. You can't get in there and mess with it, or one of the little gear teeth locked up or broke or something inside of there. So in order to get this little bad boy fixed up, let me come out here. We're gonna have to go, and that's a Lulu's place right there. Right over here, let me show you who I got these guys from. You can see here on the table, nice shipping. Wooden plates on each side of it, box. Down through the middle there is our new multi-point lock. And if it helps, let's see here we go. These guys, all about doors and windows, is where I found them. And I'll show you when we get the door lock out, you can find the ID number for the door lock on there, and then you just go looking on, Google it out. Maybe check with these guys. Their price was great. Their shipping was great. They got it here quickly. There's 8-foot doors and 6-foot 8-inch doors for these two, or two different sizes for these locks. And there's also, come in a little bit. There's also different for lock on top, or key on top, I'm sorry, and key on bottom are the two different options that you have. So this is we got what, 9-foot ceilings, 10-foot ceilings or something, and this is a 6-foot 8-inch door that's in here, and it's key on top. And so I'll pull it out and show you the numbers on the side and the new one. So let me tell you what we're going to do here. I'm going to come back out here. Let's just see. Whoop, sorry. Okay, that's out. That's good enough. So the first thing to do, and you can see on mine, I have 2 screws here in the plates. I'm going to zoom in enough to be able to see the screws. Right there, one on the top, one on the bottom, flathead screws. Not sure why someone's using flatheads. I guess it's kind of to look old school. All right, and then also, I'll show you this. You are gonna need a little hex wrench. The most of these handles, here it is. I just kind of went until I got the size. I can't even tell the size on here, but you can need a little hex wrench to get in there and get your handle off on these handles. Most of them have somewhere in here an access that's usually an Allen wrench or a hex wrench, just right in there. This one's in the back side here. I'm going to take it off and I can show you. See how it just slides right out. And then you can see there's that little hex screw that I just took out. All right. Other side, you can either take the other side off if you want. Oops, sorry, got the door out of the shot. Take the other side out if you want, or just pull it out together. You don't really. It does have one, same as the other side, where you can take off. But so let's cut it out. All right, now the next thing to do, now that those are out, is you're going to undo your screws here, 1 and 2, and we'll take these plates off. I'll get the plates off and we'll go from there. All righty. All right, so the top screw is off, the bottom screw is almost off. I'm going to show you a little thing. Most of these, they might fall apart on the floor when you pull them apart. There's going to be a pin that's connecting this to your, whoops, sorry. I'm going to back out a little bit. There you go. That's going to be connecting this to your lock on the other side, okay? So you get a hold of it, and you're screwing this screw out the last bit down here at the bottom. Just hold it together until you get the screw out to the side. And then you should be able to pull these bad boys apart just like that, and there's your pin. Now, most times it's secured pretty well. I've had some locks where when I took them apart, it was kind of wobbling loose and it actually fell out. So, and you can see this fits into your other side here, and that's what's, see, doing your lock. Now, I know it's not a lock problem because I can put this in and this turns all the way. So that is one thing to check, and I checked that before. When you take it off, you saw how this was sticking, it won't go all the way in, and even now I can do it with my hand, it won't go in. So it's inside of this. But just to be sure it is, you can either check it and make sure with that out it's going, or just twist and make sure you're turning all the way, because sometimes you can have a stick inside of actually the lock part, and that's not allowing it to turn all the way. Okay, so next step is to go through, and I'm not going to film the whole thing for this. It's going to be pretty straightforward. There's Lulu out there. Nice little dog. She's a sweetheart. Okay, let's come on up here. Except she and the cats never quite have got along very well. All right, so these, you want to take off these Phillips head screws. There's some Torx screws also along the front that you'll see. Don't touch those, don't mess with those unless you want to really take the whole thing apart and have it fall apart. The Torx screws are holding in your locking mechanism here that's behind here. The Phillips head screws are the ones that are going to allow you to take the whole mechanism off of the door, and I'll show you that. All right, so we have got all the screws off, and this should come out easily. You can pull it out with your hands easily like this. Okay, bring it out in one piece. It's going to be a little bit floppy and flimsy, or feel flimsy, I guess. It's not really flimsy, it's pretty sturdy. You can see, and I'll show you on here your ID numbers. Oh, let me flip this over. Here we go. See if we can see this. Hopefully you can see this. Yeah, that shows up pretty well. So there we've got 45928 Eagle. I use these numbers to find the matching one from online. So this whole thing is going to end up having to go away. One thing to look at and keep in mind on this door, Lulu really likes that top step out there. She hangs out there a lot. There's a spacer up there at the top for an extra piece of stainless steel. I'm going to measure out the one that I received. I think it doesn't need the spacer, it goes all the way to the top, but just in case. And also, I have seen if your door's slightly shorter, slightly longer, I guess you don't really have any choice. You're going to be short. But if your door is slightly shorter than the length of your multi-point lock, then you can always trim the edges. Okay, and then file them down, sand them nice and smooth. So let me get the other one over here and let's see how it looks going in. This should be pretty straightforward. Here's the new one. You can see the numbers 45928 right here. That's how I found these things, like I said, online. I also double checked all the measurements, at least on the place that I got them from, doors and windows, all about doors and windows. They had diagrams of exact measurements and what you were dealing with, and I measured them out, it matches. So it should match up. Actually, I've got it upside down to read it. It's going to fit into the door like this. So the first thing I'll do is check and see if I need that spacer at the top, and make sure when I fit the door in that nothing is hanging off the top or bottom, and I might have to trim it a little bit. But let me get it lined up here. All right, so we're in now. I'm not secured. I just set it in here to check the links on everything and check the fit of everything. And you can see up here at the top, we're over the top just a little bit. Now if I cut at the top, I'm going to cut through that hole and it won't look good. So that may be why
they cut my original one right here where my finger is, and then put a spacer into here. It looks like maybe they cut the original one here and then cut out a spacer for this section right here and then slid it down and put it in. For some reason this door is just not quite the exact right height, but they did mention online that if it doesn't match exactly, then the idea is to trim it. So now looking down here at the bottom, you can see that it's comes over just a little bit down there, maybe an 1/8 of an inch down there. It looks much more from this angle, but it's not much. So I'm about to test it and see if it closes. If this closes with where it is, then we're good. But don't want to screw it down, so I'm gonna have to take it off, take it out to the shop, and go after it with the hacksaw real quick, and then I'll sand it down nice and clean on the end so it's nice and neat looking and looks really good. If I have to polish it, I'll polish it after I cut it. But let me go ahead and get this thing trimmed to the right length, and we'll get it in. All right, so we're back here into the kitchen where the door is. I've made the cuts, used a little metal grinder with a cutting blade on it, cutting disc on it, and cut them off. Very easy to do. Something I forgot to mention, I'll show you, can kind of tell this thing's kind of long. I'm gonna try to zoom in and you'll see the orientation for that, for the I don't know what you call it, the catch right there, and then the orientation right there. See, it's got the flat side towards us. Whoops, I'm gonna pan all the way over. Flat side towards us. Okay, let me show you. So these things are made to go in either side of the door, and if you noticed when I was sizing it up and checking it up, the little catches here are actually facing the wrong way. This, you need for this catch, this flat part, to be facing the other way, with the way that this goes into the door, okay? Or it won't close right and it won't latch right. So since I just pushed the button and popped it out, let me get it back in. All you do is come back and turn your handle here. Oops, wrong way. There we go. Like you're closing the door, and it'll lock back in. Okay. Then you can work with it. You can work with it out too, but then get it back in. So if you flip this over and look down into it on the back side here, make sure that's still in view. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, here. There is a little hole, and down in there is a hex. Here we go. Oh, there's a hex, okay. That hex goes into there, and essentially you're just going to unscrew it. All right, you unscrew this, that'll push this out, then you can flip it over. Let me just show you here. It might take a little bit of oomph to get it started, so put it in this way. Come from the factory, it's kind of tight. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Now it's loosened up. Oh, it's about to fall off that end. Let me get it over here. Good heavens. Okay. These things are floppy. And then you're gonna bring it out like that. And then as you unscrew it, you'll see this catch here. Come on out. Here we go. It's almost there. And so you can see it's got two sides, right? And one of them is just a stud. The other one is the screw. And depending on which side of the door you need to put it on, you just flip and then screw it back down. And that's all there is to it. You need to do that on each end. Goes good and tight. Now I'll turn the handle up there again to reset it, make sure it stays in and stays where it belongs. Okay, and there it is, in where it belongs. Double check that you're tightened down enough to stay together. Yep, just knocked it out again. Anyway, we're together. All right, so the next one is to do this middle one a little more complicated. I'm going to look at it here for a second, and then we'll show you how we do it. Okay, I know I said that we weren't going to have to take off the little screws here, okay, the ones that with your Torx, but you do. I couldn't figure out any way, looking at the instructions on here, here we go, on how you get this off. You're supposed to be able to pull this piece all the way out,
Let's see, load it. And then when you bring the handle down, it opens up here. And you'll put a screwdriver into there, little screwdriver. See this hole right here? And that'll hold this in. And then from everything I can see, while that's being held in, you're able to pop this out of the holder inside of there, turn it over, and then pop it back in. It's in there. There's just no way you can get that thing popped. But once you take it off of here, right, all the way off, then it turns easily. And you can turn it around the way that you need it. And so I've got it, it started off, let me show you. It started off like this, and now I've got it turned around like that, facing the proper direction. And I'll mount it back in. If somebody knows out there a way to do it, there might be a way to do what the directions say here, which is turn this, put a screwdriver into there, and then literally pull this out till it pops out, flip it over, pop it back in. But I can't get it to pop. But once you take this off and take it off of the rail here, you can actually turn it all you want and get it the way that you want it. So I'm going to go ahead and get it back together. That's got us where we need to be. Whoops, get this handle out of the way. That's got us where we need to be. We'll back into here. If you do take it apart, there's, look right here, little notches here, little notches here. And that's what these notches here and here fit into. So that's how you fit it back in and get it lined up properly. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back together, and we'll take it from there. All right, so you can see we've got it back on here. It's not secured yet. I've just lined it up, make sure it fits. There you go. There's the holes where you're going to be putting those screws through. But got the little pieces facing the right way there. Little pieces or there, they'll catch whatever. There you go, all the way up. So I'm going to screw that down, and then we will put the handles on there, and then I'll show you what we got. You can see we're dark outside. I had to take a little break. Son of Shankopotamus is doing a televised online panel right now at his college, so I had to go check that out. He did a great job. So anyway, let me get this thing screwed down tight, and then we'll put in the plates with the handles and our locks and show you what we got. All right, so screws are back in here, secured, nice and neat. Got the handles back on, the plates back on, there you go. And then let's see if this thing works. So we're gonna close it up here. Here we go. That's Lulu, you can see her now, there you go. So we're gonna close this thing up and see how well it works here. How about that? Can we lock it? We can lock it. And now the whole Shankopotamus house is once again safe. So anyway, so there you go. That's putting on the multi-point lock. All right, replacing the multi-point lock. And if you have a door like this with the 3 points on it and you need to fix it up, that's how you fix it up. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Dr. Shankopotamus here. As always, if you enjoyed this video, if you found this video helpful, then please, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll try to post more things about whatever I fix around the house. You guys take care. Bye.